Good evening, and welcome to a very special Christmas edition of True Crime. Somebody's in the spirit there of True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and Dangerous Dave. I am Benny Scala, aka the Playa. The Playa is here with a little bit of Christmas cheer. I think Dangerous Dave has the same. But with me, as always, is my partner, True Crime. She is a New England Professional Wrestling Hall of Famer. She is Archie's stellar mom. And now she also has the Guinness World Record for the most consecutive years on Santa's naughty list. She is our very bad co-host. She is the one and only Boston Bad Girl, Brittany Brown. Brittany, Merry Christmas. How are you?
Merry Christmas, everyone. I am doing okay. How are you doing?
Lovely, lovely.
Good.
This year went way too fast. Time's got to slow down a little bit, you know?
Definitely.
And also, it's a pleasure to welcome back this next guy. There's a rumor floating around that Billy Bob Thornton himself had this guy personally flown to Hollywood so he could be a consultant on the set of Bad Santa. I'm here to tell you that that's not a rumor. That is a fact. So you heard it here first. Dangerous Dave Starr, Merry Christmas and welcome back.
I want to say thank you for having me on the podcast. Thank you for bringing me on this year. I want to say God bless to everybody out there, all our fans that supported us all through the year and stays with us. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I always want to say, as I always do, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me.
I just watched that a couple of weeks ago. What a great, great movie. Very underrated. That's if anybody out there hasn't seen Oh God, please watch it. It's really epic. So, before we get to our epic case, and it is an epic case, we need to do the commercial thing. So, Bad Girl, would you do the honors this week?
Absolutely. Let me get the reading glasses out.
Okay. Yeah, my glasses.
Folks, if you've been injured in a car accident, make sure you speak to our good friend Adam Bierbrower at the Bierbrower Law Firm. Adam and his crew do things the right way and get great results. Not only is Adam a great attorney, but the dude also has framed posters of Ernie the Cat Lad and the unpredictable Johnny Rods in his law office.
Love that
and
stuff.
He's adding an autograph photo of Brittany Brown.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, man, more breaking news. Hot damn. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Very cool.
So if you see Adam climbing the ladder at the community pool to nail that elusive triple Lindy, you will probably notice superstar Billy Graham tattooed on his back and Bret Hart tattooed on his chest. Adam is not only the man of the hour, the man with the legal power, too sweet to be sour, he is also the excellence of elocution. Adam is not only a great guy, but he is an avid WWF/WWF historian. Who else can get you a great settlement while simultaneously breaking down a Don Morocco Mario Mancini squash match? Check out Adam at browerlaw.com and follow him on Facebook. I do. And don't forget to tell him the Bad Girl, the Playa, Dangerous Dave, and Dan the Man sent ya.
Yes, ma'am. Very nice. Thank you very much. So, folks, and I got to line us back up here. There we go. Before we've covered many, many great cases in 2024. I mean, so many we've done. Gosh, we did Gypsy Rose Blanchard. We did Jean Benet. We've done some wrestlers. We've done Chris Adams, Gino Hernandez. We did Benoit. We've done the Boston Strangler, the Karen Reed case, which was epic. The Delphi murders. The list goes on and on. But I really think this one might be the best of all. So many, many years ago, in the middle of the night, the Grinch, accompanied by his very unwilling accomplice Max, descended into Whoville on Christmas Eve night and robbed each and every Who of all their Christmas gifts, food, and decoration. He took it all. Now, there was a happy ending to this, unlike many I've paid for over the last few years. We won't get into that. But one question for my esteemed partners. Brittany, you go first, Dave, then you, and then finally me last. Can you tell the folks out there about Christmas growing up in your home? And do you remember your favorite Christmas as a child?
Oh, every Christmas as a child was awesome. My grandfather had a huge house, and the biggest tree I've ever seen in my life. It probably was at least 20 feet tall. You had to get a really high ladder to get up and decorate it. And we just had the most awesome Christmases, not only at our house, but at my grandfather's house as well. And my uncle Don, who owned the bowling alley in Situate, Mass, he used to dress up as Santa and deliver gifts. And I'll tell you, never a bad Christmas in my house. And we were the only grandchildren on one side. On my mother's side, my sister and I were the only grandchildren. And then on my father's side, we were the only grandchildren that lived in the area. They lived in Ohio. So we were very spoiled. So I can't complain.
Now, was your family more of a Christmas Eve or a Christmas celebration?
Both, actually, because we did Eve at our house and then day at Grandpa and Nana's house.
Oh, you double dip. That's you
double dip for sure.
You did a double shot. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
now were most Christmases up there white?
Yes. Definitely.
Same with me. How about you, Dave?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I had great Christmases growing up. We didn't have a lot. I had my mother, we had my stepfather. My father left and never came back when I was born. God bless my stepfather. We didn't have a lot, but we had, I don't know if this sounds stupid, we didn't have a lot, but we had great Christmases. My mother had one of those trees that they were all silver. You put together, it was all silver with the thing in the front with different colors that went around. That was red, green.
Oh, yeah.
Blue. Yep. And we had one of those Christmas trees, and it was just a great time. We didn't have a lot, and that's what made it special, because Christmas is about Jesus. It's about spirit. It's about love. It's about food. It's about spirits and a few Christmas presents sprinkled in. And I'm going to tell you something. And I know all the podcasters, all our true crime podcasters, listeners will remember this. Back then in the 70s, in the 60s, when Frosty the Snowman was on, or the Grinch was on, or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was on, either you watched them that night or you didn't see them. We didn't have cable back then, or CDs or VHS tapes. When those shows are on, you know where you were? You were in front of the TV with hot cocoa, or you didn't see them at all because they're only on one night, and that was it. And it was a great time. And like tonight is a great time. I'm with my family, my grandkids. If you don't mind, if I bring my grandson in, he's all Grinched out. His birthday was the 23rd. We're going to celebrate it tomorrow when everybody's here. And the theme of it is the Grinch. We got Grinch balloons, Grinch cake, Grinch everything. So if you don't mind, if I bring my grandson in for a minute or two, I'd appreciate it.
Run-ins are definitely permitted tonight. Definitely. So,
thank you.
Any particular Christmas you remember more than any other one?
Not really. I always remembered my mother every single Christmas would give us a bathrobe. And in our stocking, she would always put an orange, an apple, and a banana, and a couple little presents in it. Aww. And you know what? That was so great. That was so great. We didn't expect anything as children. It was a different time. It was a different era. And you know what? Whatever we got, we appreciated. And like I said, the best time was when Frosty the Snowman was on, or the Grinch Who Stole Christmas was on, which I love. He even stole the roast. He even stole the roast beast when those shows were on.
We're going to get into that. And they were on back to back to back, weren't they? I remember them being all along. And I think it was actually CBS.
Yes.
Come
on in. Hold on. Here comes my grandson. Come on in. Jameson. His name is Jameson. He's got his Grinch stuff on. Sit right here. He's on the podcast. I don't know how he's going to react, but here he is. Here's Jameson.
Hi, Jameson. Merry Christmas.
Hi.
Merry Christmas.
Here's my son-in-law.
Hi, Jameson.
And my son-in-law, Ronnie. Yeah. We're having a special podcast tonight. And your birthday, we're going to celebrate tomorrow.
Happy birthday and Merry Christmas.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know how long he's going to last, but probably not long. But we just wanted to bring him on to say hi. Say hi. Yeah. Oh, look. As a matter of fact, look what he has in his hand.
Oh, my goodness.
A Grinch for the tree.
Talk about that as far as perfect timing.
Here you go, Jameson.
All right. Well, we just wanted to stop by.
Yep.
He's got he has a lot of birthday toys he wants to play with. So.
Yep. Say bye, Jameson. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Nice to meet you guys. Merry Christmas.
Nice to meet you. Merry Christmas.
Bye, Jameson John.
Brittany, did you have one in particular that sticks out in your mind?
I think so, because they were all just so awesome. And just like, Thanksgiving was awesome. Easter was awesome. My grandfather had eggs all over his property. And, they were it was quite a different kind of Easter. We had plastic eggs filled with money. We had real colored eggs. We had candy eggs. And I mean, we made out like bandits. So every holiday was just so awesome. My grandparents and my parents did a really good job. They really did. Very good memories.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm gonna last but not least. So we were more of a
hold on. What about yours, Benny? What about yours growing up?
That's what we're getting to. So we, being Italian, was more of Christmas Eve than Christmas Day. So we had something my mom called it La Vigilia, which is Italian for the vigil. So I guess it had some symbolism to it. But she would cook for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it was all meatless, believe it or not. She made like scungili. I don't know if you guys have ever had scungili. She made octopus. She made eggplant parmesan. She made meatless lasagna. It was, in my kitchen were about 3, Dudley Boys tables filled with sternos with hot food. And, then there was, of course, there was, a gazillion bottles of every booze imaginable. And I would say that we had probably, not at one time, but in the course of the evening, between 100 and 125 people at the house.
Wow.
People came from everywhere. Our friends, our neighbors, our relatives, you name it. Like people I'm sure homeless people wandered in, but we didn't care. Like, you want some food, have that. And now every dad on the block back then, they had a rotating Santa Claus. They each had to be Santa Claus. So about 7:30 in the evening, every Christmas Eve, there's a knock on the door. There was Santa with his pillowcase, and he had a couple small gifts. And so we each got a little something. And he said, make sure you go to sleep early, and and be good for your parents. And then my parents would always leave out. My mom would leave out a glass of milk and some gingerbread cookies.
Yeah.
And, the next morning, the tree was full of gifts. There's some bites out of the cookies, and the milk was half gone. And we sold it. We bought it. They sold it, and we bought it. But, no, it was so. I want to because you guys are wrestlers, and I'm kind of on the fringes of the wrestling business. very similar. The emotions, it was so much different back then because it was very real. Just like when I watched wrestling and I'd watch Killer Kowalski, put the stomach claw on Bruno. That was real, damn it. I mean, I legitimately feared for Bruno. I legitimately was afraid of Kowalski and hated the guy. I mean, little did I know what a good guy he was, but it was very real, and Christmas was very real. Now, I do have a favorite Christmas. Mine was in 1967, and the reason why is because I was and am a huge sports fan. And back then, I don't know about you guys, in the late 60s, there was only one TV in the house. It was the color TV in the living room. And I would monopolize it. I'd watch the Mets, the Yankees, the Rangers, the Knicks, you name it. I watched it, whatever, any New York sports. And at that point, I wasn't even into wrestling. But I guess to get rid of me until I was 21, my parents bought me I guess it was a 12-inch Hitachi black and white TV. So I got that for that Christmas in 1967. Brought it up to my room, and one night on a Saturday, fiddling around with it, and lo and behold, on Channel 47 from New Jersey, what do I see? Lucha Libre, right? Ooh. And I'm thinking, all right, well, it'll be in Spanish, but maybe I could watch it and pick up a little bit. But although it was a Spanish station, it was Capital Wrestling from the National Arena, Washington, D.C. It was Ray Morgan. The whole thing, all the commercials, Goya Foods and Cape Bustelo and Banco Popular. That was all in Spanish, but the wrestling was all in English. And
wow.
I got to see Bruno, and they were advertising a show at the Island Gardens in West Hempstead, New York. It was April 26, 1968. I begged my dad to please take me. He did. And the main event was Bruno versus Professor Tanaka. And again, you talk about real. I was scared to death that, did I come on the night when Bruno was going to lose his title? And I guess at that point he was about 5 years in. And they collided in the middle of the ring. It sounded and felt like an earthquake. And of course, Bruno got up at 9 7/8 and retained his championship. The next month I went to the mall with a good friend for his birthday. I had some pocket money, going to the mall. First thing we see is a bookstore. First thing I see are wrestling magazines. And after that, it's been a blur for the last, 56 years. I was completely hooked. And I have been in love with wrestling ever since. So that was easily my favorite Christmas growing up.
Nice.
Yeah. It was. I missed those days. My mom moved down to Florida in '91. She passed away in 2001. But for about 9 or 10 years, she started doing that down here in Florida. She would do La Vigilia, do the same thing, cook. Now, not really a lot of relatives down here at the time. So, instead of 100 to 125, maybe 10 to 20 people on the block. But it was just no matter what, you really, really felt special. So I miss those
that's
days.
nice.
I really do. So let's talk a little bit about the Grinch here, and let me go back here. And I wanted to talk about poor Max, right?
Max.
Didn't you guys feel bad for Max?
Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
poor Max.
Yeah, I loved him. Yeah, I mean, it was borderline animal abuse as far as I'm concerned.
No.
I mean,
he was so loyal.
He was loyal to a fault. And
I know.
I mean, we talked about it before the show. What could he have weighed? 30 pounds?
Yeah.
So he had to, number one, like when the Grinch was raping and pillaging Whoville, and he threw the sacks through the chimney. Who's there to catch him? A little 30-pound Max, and he's got to haul him on the sleigh, right? And then after, the Grinch, systematically, loots the entire town. Who's got to pull that? It's had to weigh a couple of tons, right?
Ridiculous.
Poor 30, yeah, right? I was going to say, Didn't the Grinch ever hear two men in a truck? I mean, people ready,
I know.
right? Like somebody who actually, had some muscle to do the job.
I know. Poor
Max,
Max.
Max needed Karen Reed's defense team. That's what he needed.
I was going to say Max needs a chiropractor.
No,
But,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah. What was the defense lawyer's name again?
Oh, what was his
I
name?
can't think of his name now.
Oh, for Karen
His
Reed's
name is
trial. Yeah, it
Same as a
was.
singer, right?
That guy. That guy
It's at the
just.
tip. It's at the
impressed-
tip of my tongue.
I know. Same here. What a rock star that guy was. I mean, and now that's going to go back to trial next month, right?
No,
Supposedly, yeah.
no. The judge
No.
pushed it
Oh,
off
Max?
till I want to say April. Yeah, they
Oh.
pushed it off till April. Wasn't his name was after a country singer? Jesus, that's the tip of my
Exactly.
tongue. That's the tip
Yeah,
of my
the same
tongue.
as this
Alan
country
Jackson.
singer.
Alan Jackson.
Alan
Yeah,
Jackson.
there you go.
That's it.
Yeah. So
that
they
guy.
pushed it off till April, I believe.
Wow. That
Yep.
poor girl.
And the funny part is, I drive a special needs school bus for special needs kids, and I got a new pickup, and I go probably 2 streets over where her parents live, and all you see on the streets on the people's property is "Free Karen Reed,"
Oh.
signs. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that a little bit because I'm sure we're going to be covering it again. I mean, do you really expect anything different than the previous trial?
I don't.
Well, you know what? You know what I like about the retrial? This is what I really love. This is what gives me an adrenaline rush. Is we got a new prosecutor, and his balls are like filled with whatever it's filled with, and he is gung ho, and I love that because I don't think there's going to be a different outcome, but because he's taken over for Lally, and he is like balls to the walls. Like he is like Rambo in this new trial. This is going to be great. This is going to be.
Yeah. So then Jackson has a little bit more of a formidable opponent than the other guy because the other guy, I wasn't very impressed with him.
No, I don't.
No, he was
I
low
agree.
key, but this is going to be great, and I can't wait for our podcast and the true crime podcasters out there that watch us. I can't wait for this to start. This is like going to be like I came home every morning between my runs driving a school bus just to watch this and go do my
I know.
run and come home at night. This is going to be great. I think it's going to be great because he has somebody new. I don't think the outcome is going to be any different. But hey, we got a new prosecutor. It's going to be new, and it's going to be great for our podcast fans out there. I can't wait.
I gotta
It's going to be
say,
a media circus.
and real quick, I want to give some shout outs here. We got Danny Savage, Draft Guru. We got RJ. We got J.A. Will, who said the Grinch is very talented, better seamstress than Olivia Walker, who I'm not sure who that is. We got my bestie, Katie, and her mom, Sharon. We got Jason. Yeah, got them all. The usual suspects. Thank you guys, as always. I am very much. I got to say that over the last 15 or 20 years, the trial that I was the most emotionally invested in before Karen Reed was Jodi Arias. But I have to say that the Karen Reed one, I think that has it beat.
Yeah, I agree. Jodi Arias. Yeah, we got to do that.
That's a good one. Yeah. I mean, that one, you talk about somebody who's both beautiful. She's as evil as she was beautiful.
If not more.
Yeah.
Wasn't she banging her lawyer? I thought she was banging her lawyer.
Well, I believe that that was Casey Anthony, wasn't it?
Is that who I'm thinking of?
With Baez.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry
No,
to
but
everyone out there. Yes, you're right.
The
You're right.
prosecutor in the Jodi Arias trial, Juan Martinez, he
Yes.
got in some trouble after the trial, and I'm not sure what it was all about, but I think he might have gotten disbarred. If anybody in the chat room knows that, knows what went on, please share it. And
Hey, I'm a man. I'm a man of morals and values, but if my client wanted to sleep with me, I don't know. I'd have to draw straws on that one.
Yeah. Well, leave it to Phil. Phil knows everything. Phil's like MacGyver. Olivia Walker made Mr. Wrestling 2's robes, Ric Flair's robes, and some of them and others. That wasn't that his wife?
Hold on, we have a new visitor. We have a new visitor here. Come on in here.
I was summoned.
Who do we have?
My daughter Tori.
Hi there. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Is she a baby face or a heel, Dave?
Oh, she's a heel.
She's a not
all
even
the way.
I'm a bad banana.
Oh, we like that.
Thank you.
Tell him you're a bad banana. What? No, she's shy. Tell him you're a bad banana with what?
Stinky black peel.
Tell him.
I'm a bad banana with a stinky black peel. Is that
There
it?
you go. That's the Grinch.
Stinky black peel.
That's the Grinch.
I heard the word shy. That has to be left at the door here, though. We don't know that word does not exist on this.
She's a greasy black what?
A banana with a greasy black peel.
She's a greasy black banana with a greasy black peel, like the Grinch said on the cartoon.
Banana.
Bad banana.
Bad banana. I love it.
Maybe your daughter has some comments on this. And Brittany and I were talking about this, Dave, before you arrived backstage. But like the Who's were very bizarre, right? So here they are, right? This one with the lady with the red hair almost looks human, right?
They're so cute.
Yeah.
Right, but the one on the bottom looks like something from Petco.
That looks like a peanut.
Brittany, didn't you say that Woodstock, right?
Well, that's what it looks like to me. Like it could be a member of Woodstock's
So
family.
why? Like she's normal. This guy's got two hairs. He's got the skullet, the Newport Richie skullet. They take the two hairs they have and they put it in a ponytail. Let's see. And now, but the odd thing is now you got Cindy Lou Who, and I didn't get she had those antenna from Radio Shack on top of her head.
Yeah.
But otherwise, she was pretty normal, right? Like, why is she like that? And then you got this, this bird over here.
I'm personally, I'm not into the original Grinch. I'm into the 2001 version with Jim Carrey. These ones are a little creepy looking.
They are, right?
They are.
I've never seen the newer one. I've only seen the old one, but that always got me. Is like, why is she normal? And these people, they look like gerbils. Like, well, why? Was there, crossbreeding? Did like aliens invade?
I think so.
Maybe they're from Virginia.
Oh boy,
I'm taking a fifth on that one. If we get flagged, I'm innocent.
You have to watch the new one with Jim Carrey. It's the best one.
He does kill it.
I think between drinking and once we wrap up this podcast, I might well do that because I'm spending the rest of the evening watching Christmas stuff. So yeah, I'd maybe give that a try. But now
I will say, Benny, Jim Carrey does kill the movie one. He does kill it. He does.
Yeah.
And I never really watched it until my grandson got into it and my daughter. And once I got into it, it was really he killed it. Jim Carrey, he did.
Yeah.
He's a talented guy.
He
He could do anything.
Yeah, and the dog was really awesome, and so wasn't Cindy Lou Who, that girl that played that. She did an excellent job.
She's in a rock band now. She's the lead singer of a rock band.
No way.
I looked her up the other day. I was curious. Yep.
Did she have the antenna removed?
Yes.
That's you need that. Yeah. So all right. So this is called Zuzither Karze, right? A roller skate type of lacrosse and croquet. So today is my half birthday. I am exactly 69 and 1/2 years old. You know how many games of Zuzither Karze I've seen in my life? None.
None.
Have any of you?
I mean, it looks like a. It looks. No.
60.
I'm not gonna say it.
You're 69 and a half. You don't look a day over 69 and 3/4.
Well, yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Really,
that's-
Benny, I would think I would suspect you're like 69 in one day, you know.
Yep. I'll take, at this age, I'll take any like one day is a plus.
I know, same here.
But now I do, because this is the podcast where rumors are and innuendo are turned into fact. So my next shot is of the rare Who roast beast.
There it is.
It's a turducken. It's a turducken.
He even took the rope.
But there's been a lot of rumors that the Who roast beast was played by Rosie O'Donnell.
Makes sense.
I want to tell you, even though it's like the remember my cousin Vinny with that one lawyer, identical. I mean,
yep,
identical. Twins, right? I'm gonna have that. I gotta get.
He even took the roast beast.
It doesn't look very meaty though. It looks like that big hump on the back. I mean, where's the meat?
No.
Looks very dry.
It looks very dry as well. Yeah, like where's the gravy? Come on.
And where's the carrots? All I see are those tomatoes.
I know, right?
I think those are strawberries, actually.
Oh.
They might be. I'm not sure. But yeah, so Rosie O'Donnell again is not, much as she looks like, she's not the roast beast. Maybe in the next iteration, maybe they'll ask her to play it. But now I want to see. And Dave, your daughter is welcome to weigh in with her opinions, because this has always perplexed me, and maybe in the newer version they explain it better. But
that's like Dookie.
That looks like my dog.
All right, no, I was gonna say, so it was way too easy. The Grinch goes in, he's riding that noisy sleigh, right, whipping poor Max to make him go faster. I'm sure he wasn't quiet. I mean, he's probably spent 7 or 8 hours in Whoville, systematically raping, pillaging, and looting the whole place. And not one person besides Cindy Lou Who heard him. Like, I mean, didn't they have Weimaraners in Whoville that barked? Didn't they have ADT security?
Maybe he slipped something into their Who cocoa before they went to bed.
Maybe. I mean, like, didn't they have like old Who guys like me who have to get up every hour and a half, every night to pee? Like they didn't hear this guy?
Do you ever see how small their ears were?
Did they even have ears? Hang on.
Probably not.
The messed up part is, if you saw my grandson, the dog, Dookie, he looks exactly like that dog. I wish you could bring him in.
The dog's name Dookie.
His name is Ducas Daisy Esposito. That's his full name.
He looks just like that dog you had on there. Big floppy ears.
Yeah, they don't have ears.
Those are great dogs.
Now I have a Doberman. He just looks like that.
There's no ears. There it is right there. That's problem again.
That's why they didn't hear him.
Yeah.
There you go.
He could have wore like ski boots, and they still wouldn't have hurt him.
I know.
We figured that out. All right.
Duke would be chopped.
Like, he really got away with it, and not one interruption, except for he did get Cindy Lou Who a glass of water, right?
He did.
Oh, R.J. Hudson, Rosie O'Donnell. This ain't Halloween. Yeah, she is pretty scary. I might have to drink a little bit extra so I get that picture out of my head before I go to sleep tonight.
I know, right?
Yeah, she is a holiday fright, as Phil would say.
Yeah.
Oh, what is Jabba doing there wearing glasses and a wig? Oh, that's Rosie. Poor Rosie. Rosie gets no love. You know what? Rosie doesn't deserve any love.
No.
Anyway,
No.
Like I said, unlike the many happy endings that I paid for, this was a true happy ending here. The Grinch does turn babyface, and there wasn't really a lot of storyline build like a good wrestling plot, but it may be one of the best babyface turns of all time. So I want to ask you guys as wrestling fans. Well, I want to ask you two things, both as a wrestler and a wrestling fan. Did you guys? I mean, I'm assuming you both worked heel, but you also worked baby. Did you guys make a babyface turn? And then, what was your favorite as a fan to see?
Well, I was only a babyface once. I was told I sucked, quote unquote. So one time in 28 years, I babyfaced. And
That was it?
That's the truth. And
Wow.
I healed all the rest. And I was much better at it because that is more myself, more of me being myself.
So when did that happen, Brittany? Like, how far were you in? And like, who, you know? Was it a one-off? Did you just do like one match, or?
I did it for one match, and he came through the dressing room door and said, "That sucked." And he said it just like, and I said, "This is what I was trying to tell you. I told you I would suck at it."
Was that the promoter told you that you sucked?
Yep.
Okay. It wasn't the promoter, Killer, was it?
Yep.
It was Killer?
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah, you don't want to hear that from Killer Kowalski.
No, you don't want that. And my favorite heel in the business when I was a little growing up watching it was the Fabulous Moolah.
Okay, but now she never turned baby as far as I know, did she? Did you have somebody that you liked? Did you have
She did.
I mean, I'll tell you mine in a second. Did you? Oh, she did? I thought Moolah was always a heel.
99% of the time. I think
right.
She faced a few times.
Okay.
More than me, at least.
Did you have a babyface turn that you particularly enjoyed watching?
I can't think of one because I didn't like any baby faces.
No. You're a heel through and through. I love that. How about you, Dave?
Through and through.
Did you work both as a heel and a baby?
I did. So when I graduated from Killer Kowalski's Institute of Professional Wrestling, he made me a babyface. In the first year, I lost every match. I didn't know what I was doing. And then it clicked in my friggin' head what was going on. It clicked in my head. And then Walter, Killer Kowalski, Walter came to me and said, "Dave, I want to make you a heel. Brian Walsh is our champion. We have he's a IWF champion, and I want you to go up and down the East Coast into Canada and fight him for the belt."
Oh.
I said, "Great," and I became a heel, and I friggin' loved it. I loved it, and I juiced, and Brian juiced, and we had great matches. And Brittany knows the steel cage matches we had at the Brockton Fair and different various places. And I just loved being a heel. I loved it.
You got some good heat?
Oh, but the point is, what I'm trying to make is, the first year I lost every matches because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And then it clicked in my head. It clicked. This is what's going on. And Walter came to me and said, "Dave, I want to make you a heel. You're going to fight Brian Walsh up for his belt." And it just clicked in my head. And we went up and down the East Coast. We went into Canada, and I fought him for his belt. And I won the belt one time. And he juiced and I juiced, and we had steel cage matches, and I just loved being a heel. That's what I was born to do. And I had great matches with Cowboy Chris Duffy and other members of the IWF, and Larry Sabisco and Johnny Valiant. And I just loved being a heel. I did.
Now, did you stay a heel for the good part of your career?
I did. I was a heel to the end. Yes, wow. I was.
All right. So Brittany was pretty much a career heel with that one little mini baby face turn, and then you were a baby as a rookie, but then they killer turn you heel, and you stayed that way the rest of your career.
Yep, I remember him coming to me up at his school in Malden, and I used to go up there periodically. And the first year, I lost every single match because I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Right.
And I gained experience, and I finally clicked in my head what the business was all about. And he came to me one day and said, "Dave, I want you to turn heel. And I want you to fight Brian." At that time, he said, "I want you to fight Brian Walsh for his IWF Junior Heavyweight Championship." And I was on shows with Abdullah the Butcher, Bruiser Brody,
Wow. Damn.
Ted Arcidi. I've been around the block and back. Yes, I don't brag about it, but yes, I have. I've been around the block and back.
Not for anything, Dave, but I mean, in the wrestling business, the term legend it's thrown around way too easily, but Killer Kowalski is a bona fide legend and arguably on the Mount Rushmore of heels. So when you have somebody with those kind of credentials telling you that you need to turn heel, I bet you listen to every single thing he said and then some.
Oh, absolutely. I trained with him down in downtown Boston at the YMCA. I traveled with Walter. Everywhere. We all did. He had a Suburban. Walter had a Suburban, and he could fit 1, 2, 3, 4, probably six of the boys in it, and plus him. And we'd travel wherever we went, up into Canada, up into Holyoke. Walter was a great, great man. He never charged us for gas or wherever we went for food. We never paid. It was always Kowloon. We went to the Kowloon all the time. Walter was a great, great, and Brittany will tell you, he was an awesome guy. He was he looked out for his students, and when he came to me and told me I was going to go heel, I listened to him, and it was the best thing I ever did for my career. I loved being a heel. I loved it. Sometimes people would climb in the ring after me, old ladies, and Walter would be the referee, and Walter would be laughing his ass off. He would be laughing his ass off. And, I never made I never made $1 million a year. I never made $2 million a year. But you know what? I would never trade anything for what I went through. My first match was at one time Walter said, "Dave, you're going to be at the IBW Hall in Waltham. It's going to be a TV taping." He told me where it was, and I walked in, and the first person I saw was Chief Jay Strongbow. I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm in the same dressing room as Chief Jay Strongbow. And it was a great time.
I mean, just hearing you talk about it and hearing the passion in your voice, I can tell you would not trade one moment of that for anything.
Nope. Walter was a great man.
I mean, money is great, but when we get older, when we think about things, we don't really think about the money. We think about, how happy we were when we were doing something. Money has very little to do with that.
I didn't care about money. I had women. I was young. I had long black hair. Women would sleep with me all the time. I was wrestling. I had money. I was in the hotel rooms. I was, and I didn't care. I didn't care about money. I just wanted to wrestle, and I did wrestle, and I wrestled with the people I used to watch in the 70s as a kid. Johnny Valiant, Chief Jay Strongbow, Nikolai Volkov, Larry Sabisco, and I was on the same shows as them, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, I have long gray hair, and women sleep with me all the time. The only problem is I wake up.
And then I was inducted into the IWF Hall of Fame along with Ron Shaw and Cookie Crumble and a bunch of guys. I am a Hall of Famer. I was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, you and Ron Shaw are two of my favorite people, and of course Brittany. I mean, and Ron Shaw's been on the Dan and Benny show a couple of times. Great guy, really, really great guy. Love Ron Shaw. So Ron,
he's the best.
We love you. And Phil made a good point. Phil DeCesare said that when the Grinch turned baby, he started moving some merch, and I guess a couple of folks wanted to know if Dave, either you or Brittany, was on the show Bedlam from Boston.
Before my time.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it wasn't before my time. So I used to go down to Needham because that's where the show was taped, at Channel 25 in Needham. And this is just about the time Walter, I paid him my $1,000 to train me. And I went down to Needham for Bedlam from Boston. And that's where I met Giant David, who just passed away, unfortunately. I used to sit there and watch the tapings. He hadn't trained me yet, Walter. He took my check. My mother wrote the check out, and he was going to train me. And I went down there for the tapings, and I saw, Ulysses Grant, Tony Ulysses. I saw a lot of great workers. I saw the tape, and then I went to Walter's for training, and absolutely, I was there for the tapings for Bedlam from Boston. Great. The only problem with that was they ran out of money. I mean, when you're up against Vince McMahon,
Yeah.
you got to have the money, and they just didn't have the money.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Tony Ulysses was the Soul Brothers. Tony Ulysses and Grant.
I bet the product was very high quality, though.
It was. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. Cheers.
That's when I joined Walter's school during Bedlam from Boston.
I was watching wrestling. I think it was 1969, and it was Bruno, and I forget who his partner was, against Professor Tanaka and Mitsu Arakawa. It was on TV.
Wow.
Yeah. And something happened where Bruno's partner was I think it was Antonio Pugliese, a.k.a. Tony Parisi. And somehow he got knocked out of commission. So now the two Japanese guys are double teaming Bruno. And then, Ray Morgan says, and here comes Gorilla Monsoon. I'm thinking and back then, I mean, it was 100% real to me. And I'm thinking, yeah, and Gorilla Monsoon was one of Bruno's probably greatest opponents, just a killer. They did many Broadways at the Garden. I think they went as long for as 90 minutes, a 90-minute draw, which you'd never see. Yeah, nowadays. But I'm thinking, okay, Bruno's done. He's done for. He's finished, right? Monsoon gets in the ring and starts chopping Tanaka and Arakawa, and that was the first babyface turn I had ever seen. And now this guy with long hair from Manchuria, all of a sudden is from New Jersey with short hair and speaks perfect English. So I did wonder for a while how that happened. Took a crash course in English.
Walter called me up one time. He said, listen, I have a show at the Strand Theater in Dorchester, and I have a limo picking you up and a couple other people up. I said, okay, Walter. And the limo came, he brought us into the Strand Theater in South Boston, Dorchester. And I went to the back of the arena, and I was sitting there one-on-one with Professor Tanaka. He was in the main event that night. This guy, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I'm sitting here with Professor Tanaka. I hated this guy growing up. This guy was so thick, his neck, his calves.
Yeah.
But he was the nicest. He sat there with me, was the nicest guy. And he told me that night that he was an American who served in the American military, and he was
served in the U.S.
veteran.
Army.
Yep, he told me that night, and I never knew that. And he said I was a veteran of the American military, and I sat with this guy one-on-one for probably 10 minutes or so, not long, before all the other boys came into the arena, and it's awesome guy.
Somebody said he looked like a cigarette machine with legs. That's a very good.
He was built. He was just awesome guy. Talked to me because some of the guys that were big time wouldn't even be in the same dressing room with you. he was just awesome. Tanaka was just awesome.
Yeah,
And I couldn't believe it because I hated him in Mr. Fuji.
Right.
I
Oh
hated him.
God, I despised him. I feared him because I thought like this guy's gonna Bruno become the champion. And then what am I gonna do?
Yep.
Yeah, I heard Bruno was in Hawaii and I think saw him and recommended. Bruno did that with a lot of guys. Apparently, Bruno brought a lot of guys in. Bruno saw George Steele, I guess, in Michigan, and he brought him in. I mean, he brought many guys in, just guys that he thought would be good opponents for him. I mean, he was definitely right with Tanaka. I mean, and George Steele. I mean, how long did George Steele stick around for?
Very long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, kind of, the funny thing was when he first, I started watching in 68, and I think that was the year that he broke in he started with the WWF, and his promos were very eloquent. I mean, he knew what he, sounded very educated. I guess at that point he was still teaching, and so he would only be on in the summer. And then when school started, then he went back to Michigan. But the next summer he came back and he was a Neanderthal. It's like, what the hell happened to him?
Yeah.
This guy was, he was very articulate. Did he, did his head go through a windshield or something like that? I mean, just odd.
Right.
Back then I spent many hours trying to figure out, like when I saw this guy named Jabba Rook in Los Angeles, and I thought, damn, that guy looks just like Johnny Rodz. And it was 1976. And he even had JR in his boots, just like Johnny Rodz did. And I think Bree's trying to attack a burglar here. I'm thinking but it can't be Johnny Rodz. It's Jabba Rook. But wait, it looks just like Johnny Rodz. And I tossed it around in my head for days. And but they were so good at convincing us. I really thought this was a different guy. Just a coincidence. Had the same initials. Just looked like Johnny Rodz. But, this is really Jabba Rook.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, wrestling has given me, and I'm sure you guys can both say the same, and you can say it as far as being an in-ring competitor as well, and I can't, but how many thousands of hours of entertainment that I have had by watching, and now I write about it, now I podcast about it, which is even better. Now I have a lot of friends in the wrestling business like you guys, and I mean, if you look at my cell phone, I mean, it's a who's who of wrestlers. Now, I would never call one of them unless I told them I was calling them, but it's nice. It's when you can talk to somebody that you grew up watching, it's surreal. It's no words to describe it.
Right.
Yeah.
And just remember, the Grinch, his hat grew how many sizes?
Was it 2
3
or 3?
sizes. His hat grew 3 sizes.
I have a question for your daughter. So besides Jim Carrey, who else is in that movie that I would know?
Did they even have any famous people?
Yeah, you ever watch Three's Company?
Yeah, of course.
You ever watch the episode where the guy wanted to marry, I think it was Chrissy, the bald-headed guy?
Oh, the mayor. Whose brother is the mayor's? The mayor's.
He's the mayor in that. He's the one. You ever watch Three's Company? And he wouldn't until Janet said she had kids, and he said, "Oh no, I can't do kids." He's the mayor in that movie.
Now,
it wasn't one of the,
brother?
but it wasn't. In Three's Company, had Jack. It wasn't Jack Tripper, right?
No, they had an episode where a bald guy wanted to marry Chrissy. It wouldn't take no for an answer until he found out she had kids, and he called off the wedding. He was the mayor of in that movie. And Ron Howard's brother
That's his name.
was in that movie also.
Clint Howard, right?
Yeah, I never thought about that. No, I don't think there's any other famous people in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Jim is all we need. Jim Carrey is all we need.
Jim Carrey
Exactly.
can carry. Jim Carrey can carry anything, really.
Yeah, he carried the whole movie anyway. So him and the dog and Mac.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Now you got me curious. I'm going to have to watch that tonight. But well, guys, it's been a great episode. It's probably time to people can get back to their Christmas. I want to do one more thing here. So I want to have Brittany actually thank the usual suspects. We've given them a couple of shout outs, but Brittany, if you can see that, you're a better person than I am, because I can't. But
well, I can see it now.
Yeah.
Yes. So thanks to the usual suspects: Jason Moaning, Maria Davis, R.J. Hudson, Phil DeCesare, Dan Sebastiano, Foxhole Willie, Loose Cannon, the Playmate Beth Harper, J.A. Will, and B40.
Yeah. We really are very blessed. I mean, we're not going to be millionaires with this podcast, but like the same thing we were talking about before. Dave had these phenomenal experiences that he wouldn't trade for anything. And I kind of feel the same way about this. This is a lot of fun, I mean, and who knows, maybe one day we will get discovered, but until then, we're going to keep plugging away and having fun and, hopefully entertaining the people out there, with our, our spot on true crime podcast. We got a lot of cases queued up, I think, for the next coming year. Of course, like the minute Karen Reed starts, our focus is going to shift right to that. We're going to follow that one to the end, because I can't wait for that one for sure. And now that Dave built it up a little bit as far as the storyline with a new prosecutor, all the better. More Bruno went from I don't know, I'm trying to think, like the Continental Nobleman Joe Turco, and that now he's probably going to have a Killer Kowalski or a George Steele as an opponent. So it should make it a lot more interesting.
Definitely.
And I just want to say thank you to Mike and the Farah. I want to thank you to all our podcast listeners out there that support us all through the year. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me be on the show this year with you and celebrating my knowledge to you. And my daughter would like to say something to Post Malone.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Go ahead. She loves Post Malone. She's at every concert of Post Malone in the first row. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
I just free Luigi Mangione, and that's all I had to say.
Okay.
That could be a different podcast.
All right.
Actually, that is a good subject for a future podcast.
Definitely.
Phil is saying that if we cover Dahlia Dippolito, which I have heard of that one, that Phil would make a comeback. So maybe we'll get on that one. But I
love that story.
Yeah, me too. I want to thank you guys and Phil, because Phil's been on many episodes.
Yes,
you
Phil.
guys have taken a lot of your time, and on your very busy schedule to do this with me, and you guys are so, it's like, I guess, working with Bret Hart. It's like a night off, right? I really enjoy this. Like it always seems like we're on the same page. We are a very well-oiled machine. I think we communicate very well together. We are, we bounce ideas off each other, and nobody's got any kind of ego whatsoever. We just want to do a good show for everybody. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And Dave did thank Monty and the Pharaoh. Now I do, because I am under contract, an exorbitant, lucrative contract with the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube channel, that I do have to provide so many poems a year as part of my contract. So I composed this earlier today. So here I go. You might want to cover your ears if you're a bit sensitive, but 'twas the night before Christmas, and to all our good friends, we hope that your gift boxes contain no depends. Thank you so much for supporting our show. Will Santa bring the Playa some hookers and blow? So, from the bad girl, the Playa, and Dangerous Dave, please follow our lead and go misbehave. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. God bless.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Danny. Thank you, Dave.
All righty. Bye-bye, guys. Bye, everyone out there.